Welcome everybody to this open Zoom meeting. Nice to see you all. Amor, back from long time. Garrett, good to see you. Harvey, nice you can join. Sylvan, Claire, Hadar, Patricia, Gio, Tony, Kai, nice to see you again. Marie-François, I think you have joined the meeting before. Rosa, good you're here.
He looks very different.
Well, you can ask him. Let me do the intro, and then you can ask Tony about his appearance. So, so the suggestion here is that there's simply this innocent stream of happenings, which may include the suggesting or the believing that there is a stream of innocent happenings to begin with. So there's just this, and this may include the idea that there's a you and a life which you have, which you can live, and which will end for you, or the lack of those ideas, beliefs. Just innocently arising thoughts, beliefs, ideas, concepts, stories, likes, needs, preference, dislikes. And there's no separated solitude besides this, as a you being the owner of likes, dislikes. At the same time, claiming there to be no one apart from this is already this. It's already not separated. And there's no you able to do anything about it. You're trying to see this or get this, or thinking that there's something to get, or thinking that there's like a big pile of gold down the line when you do everything right, and one day it all will magically is being seen by you too. So welcome everybody. Good to see you. Sylvan, you said you want to say something?
No, it was just an expression. I think Rosa looks very different than she used to. Can you see her?
She's got a picture. It's not her. It's a elephant.
You mean that she looks like an elephant?
It does, yes. That's all I wanted to say.
That's all that I wanted to say.
Oh wait, she has issues with the camera, I guess. Amor, you want to share something back from a long time?
What's up, buddy? I missed you. Yeah, there's nothing really here to really talk about for me, you know. I just whatever is said just seems to be happening naturally. Without any effort. You know, there's nothing that's wrong or right. And as you would say, it makes there's being right or wrong. But that's it.
Sorry to interrupt you. There was a little echo.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm in my truck. I don't think
it's better. It's better. It's better. Maybe you want to repeat it again if you can.
Yeah, any words that are said just seem to happen just as naturally as the birds chirping or the wind blowing, or we're human, so to say, and not even. It's just all seeming to happen so naturally. So I'm just here to listen to what everybody got to say. So
good. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, not even. I love that one. Not even. It points to the unknowability, right? I mean, there is just what seems to be happening as far as thoughts, beliefs, concepts, stories seems to paint this happening, which itself is already just what seems to happen. There's no way to know what it is, or if it is, as there is no one separated able to step outside of the idea or the belief that there's an outside. There's no door. No one has entered this through a door. There was no one waiting already for this to happen, as a separated you waiting for life to begin. Tony, you're awfully quiet. Sorry. Somebody started talking.
No, I just thought that no one was talking, so I was going to say something. But
go ahead, Gio.
Well, you know, these flashy eyes cannot see. These flashy ears cannot hear. The skin, the organic skin, cannot feel, right? This gray matter in the mind cannot think. So where or what is sentience? Who or what is sentient about perceptions? It's just a question that I am putting forward, because it seems, you know, flesh cannot see or hear.
Well, I would say, Gio, who is sentient? You know, you mean who is doing this, right?
No. What is sentience? Where? What or who? You know, I mean, something is seeing, something is hearing, something is understanding or not understanding. It doesn't matter. What is it?
Well, whatever it seems to be, or felt to be, or claimed to be. So here it's not about coming to a, you know, like a conclusion that it's the brain or whatever, or the soul, or the true self, or whatever. It's just whatever seems to come up as an answer, or not.
Yeah, I don't know how to put the question properly. It's about sentience. We are not like stone or rocks or a piece of wood. We have sentience, right?
Well,
I don't know if the question makes sense at all.
So I see Harvey moving there. Harvey, maybe you want to throw in a dime here.
Well, I know what the word means, but if I take away the word, because the word implies kind of a distinction between. I'm echoing here. Yeah, I'm sort of echoing. Anyway, there seems to be a distinction made between sentience and non-sentience, and although it's got there's a pragmatic definition in there, it may not really apply. That there is no real distinction. And in terms of things like understanding and knowing, I often would say, instead of saying what is understanding or I understand, there is understanding, there is knowing, but it doesn't point to anyone who's claiming it. It's just that's what appears. And I leave it at that. So then the issue of sentience, I don't know, it doesn't become as important or not important at all in that context. So there is knowing, but it doesn't necessarily mean there is a knower. It just that's what appears.
Yes.
Yeah, there is not a knower, and there is not the sentiencer.
Yes.
But we can certainly differentiate this rock. I mean, we are not rocks. There is a difference. The moment we are seen as a dead, the moment that we die and we look at the corpse, it does not have sentience anymore. So something has sentience.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
how important is this? You know, I mean, to what extent does it really matter? I
I
mean,
don't know.
so this matters maybe to, you know, when there's a strong sense of me being that alive, so to say, right?
I think this to
I
even
mean,
say there's a rock or a chair, those are just arbitrary labels, but at a very fundamental level, there is no rock or a me as a body. I mean, yeah, I know in language we say it, but if it's like in quantum physics, if you keep going zooming in, it's all empty. It's empty of any permanent independent existence.
that's not what I'm talking about. Sorry, Harvey. Who is saying what you're? Somebody is talking and saying what you are saying. Who is that? What is that?
I would just answer there is talking or there is saying.
Well,
I know
Because
where
there
you're
is-
coming from, Gio. I'm not contradicting you really, but
Oh.
what I'm saying is there's different ways of sort of looking at this.
I am not
The
contradicting
who
you either.
become no, I know you're not. I know. All I'm saying is that the who is less important because it doesn't have, for me anyway, it doesn't have a significance in it to try to find out the who, rather than just to notice there is talking or there is conversating, and that's all. That's all I would say.
so
Yeah.
Gio,
Okay. I don't want to push this. Okay, go ahead.
Gio, all we can, you know, as far as it seems, there seemed to be, you know, a physical body, you know, speaking, hearing, listening, right? As far as it seems, as far as ideas, beliefs, concepts, stories seems to paint. There's this which is called to be a human body performing activities, but there isn't a separated you.
Yeah, certainly not. Separate. There is nothing separate.
So there is as far as it seems, they're speaking and crying and laughing and exploring and knowing and not knowing and all those types of so-called activities.
I guess I was trying to point to a certain deepening of profundity, which I call sentience, which maybe some would call an I that is not separate from anything else. But I don't know how to put it in words, but sentience to me means something more than absence of sentience. I don't know if you get it. I mean,
maybe
if
it's
you
the
are-
word, Gio. Sorry, maybe it's the word which put, you know, here the word doesn't ring any bell, so to say. English is not
Okay.
my language, so maybe so there's already a certain type of
This
misunderstanding.
is sentience. This is sentience. Don't you feel if you touch your hands, right? This is sentience. To see the screen is sentience, but it is not the flesh that is seeing. The flesh cannot see.
No, but
Something,
yeah, but what is, you know, what is, I mean, where you want to go with this? So
as I said, I want to go somewhere deeper than appearances.
but
Gio.
there is nothing, you know, here I would say, you know, there is nothing deeper to go to. You know, besides the idea that there is a deeper.
Yeah, that's true also. Yeah.
So
Gio, you may ask 10 different people this question and you may get 10 different answers.
True.
And you know, pick which one you want to run with.
I'm not saying your question is not legit, but as far as it seems here, you know, there is no deeper, you know, there's no deeper than the idea that there's something deep or not deep. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, this is not a rhetoric question that demands an answer, really. It's more an invitation to something that I cannot define, really.
yes.
But it's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
there is no separation. That's right. I'll
So,
stay with that.
you know, these I would say these interests, you know, to find out, or the whole questioning, you know, this sudden interest tonight, throwing up this question, so to say, and wanting to know the responses and trying to find out, is this already? It's, and it has no position.
Yeah.
It is not deep. It is not somewhere. It's not nowhere. It's the same. You know, it's not a thing. It's not a no thing. And at the same time, it's everything.
Yeah.
So maybe
And that's sort of what I was saying, Joe, when I said if you ask 10 different answers. I mean, each
Yeah,
answer
because
appears to be it. That's it. That's the
Yeah.
pulse of this, of life. Every answer to the question is already it.
yeah. It's not something to think about, to ponder about. No, it's just, I guess I'm just trying to, it's all here, right? No separation.
well, I
And
mean,
I think,
yeah, including pondering. You know, there's nothing wrong,
yeah,
Geo, about pondering. You know, pondering, you know, or not pondering. It's already beautiful what it is. You know, and this intrinsic need to find out something, or to have a talk about.
yes, Sander, but the question that I have raised is not about pondering or thinking.
No, I know. You
Not
made
at
it
all.
clear. You made it clear.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
just pointing out that there's just what is, which also may include pondering. There's nothing wrong, you know.
Yeah.
From the side of Geo here, I think that particular wandering is important because we all act differently. I mean, we have an influence. It doesn't matter. We are no one if we don't want to use words. We're getting very confused with words here, but there is some sort of existence, I think, which exists. And that's what I would call sentient. I mean, I feel as well. I can act, and therefore I'm not totally a non-entity.
No, but no one is claiming that either, Sylvan. No one is claiming such a thing. This is not saying you don't exist, and that there are no choices. This is just pointing out that there's no separated choice maker. And this is also not saying that there are no feelings. There are just no such thing as your feelings, as a you separated from feelings.
You've been told.
So you mean in one person or whatever you want to call it? There's no separation within the one person
Well,
or being.
Well, there isn't a one being.
It's a difficult one to understand.
Well, the funny thing is, can it be understand to begin with? You know, it's neither about understanding. So there isn't something else which can be understood or not as something else. The understanding or the lack of understanding itself is already just simply this. This is not talking about something which is sacred or hidden, which we all will find somewhere down the line when we all do our practices. There isn't, this is pointing out that this is it, which includes also the idea that there is something more sacred able to find out. That's it already. This is not trying to find some hidden or some golden truth down the line where everyone is happy with each other. This is not about moving to a state where we all are in love with each other or where the world is in peace. No.
Might be, Sander. It might be, and that's also okay.
Oh yeah, of course. But this here, there's no such intention. But there's just simply with what seems to be happening, which may include the need for peace and the need to move certain people, so-called individuals, in a certain direction. But that is not where this meeting is about. This meeting is just simply pointing out that there is just simply whatever seems to be happening, this, which may include the need for peace, or the sense of being an individual, having choice or not, or the lack thereof. This is free to be whatever it seems to be, which may include, I feel, Sander, like I'm a separate being and I have a choice, and I don't like this. That's it already. I'm saying there's no one behind that as a you, as a separated you, doing those emotions or the ideas or beliefs or conclusions.
What are feelings and senses?
What they are.
Mm.
Well, here there's no interest to find out.
Well,
Just
we still have them, haven't we?
I mean, they are whatever there seems to be for someone, so to say. So this is not about, it. Sometimes there's the feeling that this is about something, right? So that we are here to figure something out. But this is not about figuring something out. This is pointing out that the idea or the belief that there is something to figure out, or the lack of that idea, is already not figurable out. You cannot find it out already. So the need to find something out or not itself, you cannot find. It's completely already what it is. There is just this hidden as everything and nothing at the same time.
and there is no other. There is no otherness, which is
There is
in
no
a way
otherness,
is.
no.
I am answering to Sylvain when he said, "What do you mean there is no separation?" It means that if you take the challenge, can you point something that is other? You cannot, because whatever you point to is your own perceptions.
I know that.
No, I'm just saying that probably this is what Sander is saying, that non-separation is not within a person or this person. There is absolutely no otherness, not for this person.
Okay, but I mean, even if the whole world is my creation and I make it up, there is still something making it up.
Well, yes, but it's not about. So the idea that the world is your creation, or the lack of that idea, or the belief that something needs to make this up or not, is already just simply this. So if
Yeah.
it's not me, then it's God. If it's not me, then it's Shiva. If it's not me, then it's energy or something else making this up. The whole idea that something is making this up or not is already not made up.
Yeah.
Can I ask,
Well, it's a controversial.
Sorry.
can I ask a question? And it might be kind of rudimentary, people, so sorry if it is. But I've been wondering, okay, so this, whatever this is likened to a dream, right? I've heard that.
Well, I mean, it's the same. Calling this reality or dream, or thinking this is a reality or a dream, is just simply what seems to be happening. It doesn't really change anything,
Right, but that's not my question. So, but I just wanted to make sure that, because that's what I've heard, that this is similar, the analogy of it being like a dream, like when you go to sleep, you think it's real if you're dreaming, and then you wake up and it's gone, and it's the same thing in this, whatever this is.
No,
Similar.
well, this is not. This is pointing out that there is no one going to sleep or waking up.
Okay, but my thing is that whether what I'm doing is going to sleep or not, when it looks like I'm going to sleep, I might have a dream, but when I wake up, my dreams are different every night. I'm not sure about everybody else, but I don't have the same dream hardly like ever. But when I wake up, this is the same as far as I can tell. I'm still look the way, I mean, you know, that might have some changes I'm not happy about, but I look pretty much the same than I did the day before. My apartment's the same. It's like things are where I put them. So I never quite understand that analogy. And I don't know if anybody could explain it further to me, or if you guys don't believe in that at all, I guess it's irrelevant.
I mean, when it comes to, so there seems to be all types of analogies, right? So this is an illusion, or this is a dream, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So claiming this to be real, or a dream, or an illusion, and thinking that you really understand what is happening is already this. So it doesn't matter. So the whole need to compare something, you know, this with a dream at night or not, is just simply what is. As is trying to figure out what is meant with the idea this is a dream, or the analogy. At a certain point, the interest may just simply drop. I mean,
okay, but I just still was curious, like, why is it being made at all when to me, it doesn't correlate? Like, why is that even an analogy? I don't get it.
Well, maybe you should ask the person who told you this analogy.
Fair enough.
Because Gio, maybe you want to explain.
Yeah, because I agree with her that this can be analogous to a dream. And she says, well, when I wake up, everything is the same. My house is the same. I am the same. But that's not true, Mary. You are not the same. Every cells of your body have changed. Every, you know, the stuff on the floor of your house, it's not the same. They have changed.
Yeah, I know microisms and all that kind of stuff. I get it. But that's not what people mean when they use that analogy. They're not saying that, oh, when you go to sleep at night, the microisms or whatever it is, that they're not there at all. So
well,
no,
I don't see how it's analogous, because I mean, I left my cup there, and even if it's changing, the cup is still there. Yeah. Now maybe over time it would break down, but I'm not going to be here to see that. I just don't see how they're the same at all. Actually, I don't get that analogy. But I know you can't step in the same river twice, because you're different and the river's different. But at the same time, the river's there and it's still me stepping.
Yeah, but you know, Marie, I would say there isn't, you know, there's just a river. There's no you able to step in the river. There's just a river, which includes the idea that you are stepping in it, or not able to step in it twice. I would say there's nothing else but the river. And when it comes to when you go to sleep, so there seems to be an identification with the physical form, right? That this body is who you are, and that body is going to sleep. So here the suggestion is there's no you being that body. There's just simply a body sleeping, as far as it seems, waking up. But there is no additional you who is the body. So
Marie,
again,
I don't.
With the physical form may happen. You know, claiming or feeling I am this body. This is who I really am, and I go to bed at night. It's just simply what is, or not. So feeling or thinking that there is a you who is that physical form waking up in the morning and looking in the mirror. Here it's just simply a body seeing, talking, moving. There is no sense of the body being my body or your body. But maybe Tony wants to say something. So Tony, go ahead.
Yeah, Marie, I wouldn't agree with that statement that life is a dream. Some people make that statement, but I wouldn't agree with it. I might agree with the statement that life can be like a dream, or life can be dream-like, but I don't agree that it is a dream. And it's clearly not based on our experience. As you say, when you get up in the morning, you expect your car keys to be where you left them. But it's not like that in a dream, which can just change from 1 minute to the next. And things can happen that completely defies all the laws of physics, etc. So I would never say life is a dream, but it can be dreamlike.
I was curious, Marie, about why the question was asked, actually, because it seems to be that maybe there's some kind of interest or some sort of desire to have some kind of materiality that is lasting and is kind of trustworthy, to wake up and to know that this is all here can kind of make us feel quite safe. We like to feel that that this is real, materiality is reality, that can be really quite comforting. So I think to sort of hear that this is all just one and this is all not real can be quite a frightening idea, because you want to sort of wake up and know that people you love are going to still be in your life. So I was curious if that might be where your mind was when you asked the question at all.
No, but now that you think about it, that can be either comforting or feel like a trap. Depends on whether or not you like a dream that you can't get out, really. Yeah. I'm like, wow, if life is like my dream, then I should be able to change it like that.
Well, it's hard to get out of something which you are already not in. It's hard to leave this in the absence of you already being in this.
Yeah, that's just for me. It's super esoteric, but I understand, that people, say that.
I mean, when it comes to real or unreal, I would say this is as real as it seems or as it gets. As far as thoughts or ideas suggest this is reality. There's nothing more to it. Claiming this to be real or unreal or a dream is just simply what is. As far as ideas are painting this to be as it is. So even if this is a dream or not real, does it really matter?
Well, nothing matters, so no.
Well, I don't want to say nothing matters. This. I wouldn't say that nothing matters, but.
Well, what matters? What matters if something matters, then everything matters.
Yes. Well, it matters and it doesn't matter at the same time. It's not about coming to a place where fuck it, nothing matters anymore. This is not like a nihilistic group meeting,
Right.
If things matter, they matter. It's just I'm just simply pointing out that they don't matter for someone apart from this.
Okay.
So having certain values or thinking that certain things are valuable is just simply what is happening innocently, and this may change. So
No, I didn't have like any kind of deep thing behind it. It's just that I've heard that analogy so much throughout the years, and it never made any sense to me. So I figured I'd ask people who seem to have kind of they also believe in that analogy, because it's never made any sense, but maybe it works for other people. I don't know. I was just curious to see what other people thought about it, or if they could explain it to me.
Harvey has dealt with this matter, I'm sure.
With the matter of the dream?
Yes.
I never liked the words real and unreal, because the dream to me is it's real when you're in it. I mean, that's what you're in. I've tended not to get sort of involved in the question, is this a dream or not a dream? Because to me, it's neither. It doesn't matter in a sense. It's just words we use, but it's just what is. So when I'm in the dream, that's what is. And that's the way I'm looking at it. And the clock may be there when I wake up where I left it. And in the dream, it may be somewhere else. But even in the dream, I don't even question it in the dream. In the act, it just is.
Yes. But of course, fair enough. These things may seem important, the wanting to know what is meant, So this is pointing again to there's just simply what seems to be happening, the interest to find out what is meant with people saying is this a dream or this is a dream and whatever. That interest is just simply arising. So the need to find out may just suddenly stop. The need to find out or to go deeper into this or not is already just simply what is.
And also, if you call this as a dream, it doesn't make sense because you would have to compare it with something that is not a dream.
Exactly.
And it doesn't make any sense. I mean, how will you compare a life that looks like a dream with a life that it's not like a dream? Just doesn't work.
No.
That's a very good point, Gio, because often when we question whether it was a dream, it's only later when we have the comparison. But when you're there, let's say, quote unquote, in the dream, you just flow with it. You don't do that questioning in the dream usually.
Well, that's why I asked, does it really matter?
I don't know. I wake up in my dream.
So this is a dream. Now what?
No, it's not me making. I'm wondering why is that analogy being made?
I'm telling you, it's a dream. Now what? I'm telling you, it's all a dream.
Right. I mean, and also being an artist, so many artists are the whole life is a dream thing. So, it's not a dream, then everything's a dream. So, what's reality? Then the word dream doesn't make any difference if you don't have anything to compare.
Yeah.
If you watch the movie Inception, then you give up the whole question because then after a while you have no idea. Is it a dream, not a dream? And after a while you just give up.
Right. I was like, this is bullshit. But
well,
Memento, old one.
It's hard to know what this is in the absence of a separated you and a this. There isn't this to be a dream or a real thing as a thing. There isn't a thing called a dream and a no thing called reality or something.
Maybe being used because I think when I've heard it in certain contexts, it's like maybe to not take quote unquote so serious because it's not real, but I don't know if that's possible either. Because if it's your dream, regardless of it, if it's a real dream to you, you're going to take it serious. I don't know.
But you can ask those people, try with a hammer and hit their finger and ask if they say it's a dream or not.
That's right. So you don't think it's a dream, you get hit by a car, find out. Go stand in the middle of the street, see how much of a dream it is. I know. I don't know.
So yeah, there seem to be all these types of ideas or labels, I would say, but the label is it already? There isn't even a something which is a dream or reality.
Is there even an answer to any of these questions? Although there may appear to be a million answers.
Yes. Yeah. Of course, Amor, I mean, every answer is already, I would say, including the liking and okay, yeah, now I found my answer, and until that finding that answer, the most correct one, simply vanish, and there's a need to find a better answer, or the need to find out may just simply dissolve completely. The need to find out if this is really happening or not really happening, or if there is a me or no me or whatever, may just simply stop. But there's no you stopping it or doing it already as something outside of this, outside of the idea that this is real or unreal, outside of the thought that this is a dream or not.
Right. there seems to be an ending to conflict, no? In a way.
Yes. In what way, Gio?
Because there are no comparisons, there are no questions demanding an answer.
Mm.
It already is. There is nothing separate that wants to know something that is other than itself. And there are no things outside of what I am, which are all these statements are pointing to the same this. Nothing else.
Yeah, which includes the statement itself. It's all this.
Also.
Claire, Sylvan, you were talking before. Maybe you want to add something or...
Share something which is happening right now as you guys were just talking. I've got a bit of a stomach ache and nothing bad, but I was wondering, is it because I ate dinner too quickly because we were obviously late for the meeting, and then it was interesting because when I sort of, or it could just be a bit of tension, you know, sometimes you sort of hold on to tension physically in your body, which is just mental tension. And I was sort of thinking about the pain, and as I was thinking about it, it got worse, and I'm not feeling it right now. So it just sort of on the subject of pain, like it seems to be that when we think about something that's painful, we almost create that pain. I think I've got a stomach ache. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to get some tea or leave the meeting, or you know, how embarrassing, this is a nightmare. You know, I can't talk about pain because that's not very socially acceptable. So, you know, there's all those things that sort of go on in your head. But if you just sort of let it be, it's probably just
It's not a dream.
Oh, but you know what you are pointing to. You say when there's these things in your head. So I would say there's just this stream, right, which includes the so-called, which people seem to claim to be the inner dialogue. You know, questioning certain certain so-called physical pain or feelings. It's absolutely normal, you know. This may just simply arise. Is this from the food, or is this because I'm in the meeting? Oh my God, I have to do something about it. Maybe there's something wrong with me. Oh no, it's because I don't like this, or this coming to a conclusion and reflections, and all that is just instantly streaming. It's just playing on its own, and not even. I mean, there isn't a thing which is playing on its own. There isn't even an actual stream of happenings.
Well, you asked me the question, Sander.
So, yes, so it's quite normal when you explain, like, well, my body is hurting now. Yeah, that's it. And there may be a strong belief, it's because of the food. But there's no way of actual knowing, it's not. And this doesn't need to stop. I mean, we can call it the neurosis also. There seems to be neurosis or certain patterns, right? So people say characteristics or behavioral patterns. They are just playing out freely, innocently. Fear, anxiety, stress, it's all, it's not owned. It's no one. It's no one's stress. It's no one's pain. No one as someone outside of what seems to be happening, including pain or the lack of pain.
So when you have a preference for something, what is it that's having that preference? Like maybe what was behind my question is, let's say the body is going through something painful and I don't prefer not to.
Well, some would say it's my preference or it's your preference, but the claim it's your preference or it's non-preference is already just simply innocently what is. So it's not about, saying, so it's anyone's preference and it's no one's preference at the same time. there's just preferences. There's just what is, including preferences and the lack of preferences. I would say it's no one's preferences, but at the same time, the idea or the sense it's my preference is already no one's preference, in the sense that it's not owned by someone outside of the idea that it's yours or not.
Yeah, the problem is that we fragment, we separate.
Yes.
And that's the problem.
It's functional, right? It's just language is dualistic, you know, let's say thoughts are also, it's painting a you and something else, which itself is already not separated. So there's just an innocent stream of thoughts painting a world or a life which you have as a separated being among so-called other beings.
I guess I still believe in separation. It still all looks very separate to me. I feel like everyone's having a different experience, which to me is separation right there. And
right, yes, yeah,
different places. Some people are in a war, some people aren't. Some people are in a war, don't know they're in one. I don't know. It all seems very separate. Even like when you guys were talking and I was in the car, I almost ran into us. So it felt like there's stuff going on all the time. So,
well, the claim that there are the claim or the suggesting that there are separated things is already not separated. This is not about seeing that everything is connected. So when you are pointing out to different situations, the whole pointing out is already not separated itself.
Why? Because everybody does that?
No.
Then why is
No,
it?
Because you cannot point to an event that is not you.
Exactly.
How can you have contact with an event that is not yourself?
Or
it's either one of your 5 or 6 senses, 5 senses, or in your mind. It's always in you, and there is no separate you.
So claiming there to be separation is already not separate.
Already. I think there is a very easy example. If I challenge you, Mary, point me something that is separate from you. Give me an example.
Okay, well, I have a cup of coffee and I'm going to.
Right.
The cup and me are not the same thing.
Okay. How do you know about the cup? Is it because you see it or because you touch it? And the seeing and the touching is you.
So whatever you see is you.
Is you. Yeah, it's I. Whatever I hear is I. Whatever I feel is I. And if there is something that I imagine that is not here, it's my own imagination. It's also I.
So that
if you say,
can't it be both? Existing and not existing.
No.
I mean, who lives like that, Gio? I mean, can you tell me one person who lives like that?
But that's a different
when
question.
Considering a coffee cup, who lives like that?
Yeah, but this is just for pointing out, Tony. You don't really think that Gio is the whole time, you know, this is just...
I don't know. He seems to want to know what sentience is. But he knows already.
So what, dear Tony? You know, what's the issue then? Tell me.
Well, when you make such a statement, like saying the coffee cup is not separate from me. First of all, when you talk about non-separation, non-separation from what exactly?
Yes.
Because you need two things. You need
Yes.
two things to be separate, right?
And there aren't two things.
So if there's no separation, then no separation from what?
If there is no two, how can you separate?
So
well, look, this coffee cup. Well, it's tea actually, but never mind. This is separate from the TV screen.
Yes, but both are
Right.
perceived by non-separation, because your eyes are seeing the TV screen, your eyes are seeing the cup, right? Both are non-separated as perceptions.
But what I would say is that if you make the statement, I am not separate, that's it right there. You're already separate, because
Of
you're
course.
acknowledging that there's something, you're acknowledging that there is something that is not separate from what you are. And therefore,
Sure.
that's a statement of separation.
wait,
It's
Of
Tony.
course, if I say I am not separate, of course it means that there are two. I am not separate from what? Of
Tony,
course.
let's put it like
Right.
so the cup is separate and not separate at the same time. There are no separate things outside the idea that there is separation.
Yeah, yes. I mean, I would go along with that. That there is
There is no
there is
separation.
apparent separation.
You know, there is no separation outside the idea or belief or the feeling that there is separation.
Oh, say that again.
There's no separation outside the feeling or the belief that there is something separate.
Oh, I don't know how you can make that statement even.
Well, you see, it happens quite effortlessly, I would say.
I'm really trying to get my head around that.
Yeah, because it doesn't follow. What Sander is saying doesn't follow, but I understand what he's saying. It doesn't follow. It's not logical.
So
Well, I
say
would
that-
say that there. I would say there is
let's
only
say,
me.
Tony, let's say there's
I
an
would say there is only me. I mean, I wouldn't use the word separation. I would say there is only me.
But Tony, there seems to be an innocent stream of thoughts claiming this to be a body separated from a cup. When that innocent stream of thought is not there, where's separation?
Well,
There's
that innocent
just an
stream of
innocent
thoughts
stream
could
of
be anything
thoughts.
else if that's what is appearing.
Well, of course, but the whole thought stream or the lack of thought stream is already not separate. There's just simply no separation, which includes the idea that there is or isn't. So I would say there is and isn't separation, both and neither, and not even.
What does
Is
not
it-
even mean? What does not even mean?
Well, it points to the unknowability. It's just simply unfuckable. You cannot know it. It's just, you know, to know separation or to not know separation, there needs to be something. There isn't even a thing.
Right.
I mean, I would go along with that statement that there is both separation and non-separation in the way that I would say that there is both impersonal and personal.
Well, but there isn't a thing called personal and impersonal to begin with.
Yeah, but there must be, because I just said it.
Oh, yes, but that doesn't prove anything.
Oh, I can't prove anything to you in the same way that I can't prove sentience to Gio, who asked a question and he already knows the answer, that it's to be self-aware.
So,
So I don't know why he wants an answer.
Is
I
it
was
not
not
possible that the
asking for an
cup,
answer.
uh,
I
can
was
the
not
cup,
asking. Ah,
can the cup be both me seeing a cup, or me, and the cup exists as well?
well, as for, you know, when there's a thought that, you know, the physical form is who you really are. So there's just
Yes, Sylvian, you're the knower of the cup.
there's a thought claiming that there's a you,
Claire
that
can
physical
know as
form
well.
is who you are, or the lack of that thought. When that thought is happening, so to say, as far as thoughts are saying that thoughts are happening to begin with, so there's just this innocent stream of thoughts, which is already
There is a sort of triple thing going on here. Three things. There's when Sylvian looks at his cup, there is the knower of the cup and the process of knowing. So there's the knower, the process of knowing, and what is known. that sort of trinity that you can speak about, which has a meaning because that's your experience, right?
I would put it in another way. Sylvain is showing us the cup, right?
So you are seeing
And
the
then
cup.
he's, yes, and you are implying that there is some real cup outside of your perceptions.
No, I'm
And
just
to that
asking the question. I'm just questioning it. I'm not saying
Yes,
that is or
yes.
not.
No, and
It is
I
a real
understand.
cup. It is a real
So,
cup.
that there is a real cup outside of your perception is just a thought, which is already
it's a real cup because it feels like a real
no.
cup.
If there is a real cup outside of your perception, it's just another thought.
Well, what is the proof that it? What is your proof that it's not a real cup?
There is no proof. It's direct perception. There is only
You're
direct
saying it's not a real
perception.
cup.
If you say there is a real cup, it's just imagination, and imagination is also your mind. It's
Well, imagination is just a word, Gio. I mean, it's just a word, right?
How can
He thinks it's a real
communicate
cup. Look, I think this is a real cup, right? I think this is a real cup.
Non-separate.
But what I would
we
say
are not
is
discussing,
well,
Tony,
no,
that
separate. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me whether it's separate
real
or not separate.
real. We are discussing whether it is separate or not separate. And I'm saying
trying to
there is
figure
no
out if
way.
you're real.
There is no.
Hey, you know, this is not.
No, what I would say is this. No, what I would say is this. This is a real cup. You know, I've been drinking tea out of it, right? It's a real cup. But what I would say is that I cannot know the cup. You see, I cannot know the cup because what is this cup? You see, I look at it from a certain angle. I see it looks like this. If I change the lighting, it'll look slightly different. You know, it's always changing, but it's still a real cup. But it's not a real cup in an absolute sense. That's what I would say.
Well, I mean, it's so funny, you know, because we seems to want to come to the conclusion what is real and unreal, which is already just simply you never will get it right. And everything
But that's
right
not what I'm saying, Sander. Sorry,
I know you're not saying that. I'm pointing out to Tony.
All I'm saying that if there is a cup other, forget the real, if there is a cup other than the perception of the cup, that's an imagination. And that imagination is in your own mind, which is another perception.
The cup.
All you have is perceptions. There is nothing outside of your perception.
The cup cannot be different from you because you're the perceiver of the cup. So the perceiver and the perception, the perceiving and the perception really aren't different.
There isn't a perceiver of a cup.
No.
Well, there can be. Well, yeah, but it's in the same way you said there is both separation and non-separation. You can also speak of the perceiver of the cup, right?
Yes, but there is no separated perceiver of the cup outside of perceiving. There's just perceiving. There's no separated perceiver outside of the claim there is perceiving or not.
How do you know?
Oh, I don't.
Oh, well, hey, come on, you've got to put your money on one of these.
Oh, no.
You can't hedge your bets here, son.
Well, I mean,
you're hedging your bets.
No need to.
You see, this is where the not even comes in. The not even is the ultimate bet hedger.
Well, I mean, it's just pointing out to the unknowability. Let's put it that way, because you know, to know something, there needs to be a you and something else as separated.
No, there doesn't.
Well, I'm not saying
I'm
not saying there's no knowing, but knowing itself cannot be known as much as unknowing cannot be known. You have never seen knowing, and you have never found unknowing. Both knowing and unknowing are unknowable.
Well, you why would you want to see knowing? Because you're only interested in what you know.
Well, you never hold knowing either. There is not a thing called knowing, or a no thing called knowing or unknowing. There are no things. There are no things. The idea that there are things is already not a thing, nor is there a this.
Well, they're not things. They're not things. they are things if you're using words, because then you can say words are things, right? But okay, they're not actually
Yeah,
things.
but that's already not the thing, Tony. Saying words are things is already not a thing. It has no boundaries. It's not defined by borders. So saying there are things or there are no things is already itself not a thing. Please show me.
Okay, if you look at the horizon and you see the ocean and the sky, you're able to make a distinction between the ocean and the sky. But what you can't do is say, this is the absolute line that separates the ocean and the sky. What is the border between the ocean and the sky? You can't really define that. But at the same time, you can make a distinction between the ocean and the sky.
Yeah, but distinction is already not a thing.
Well, I didn't say it was a thing. It's a process.
Well,
it's a knowing.
A process is
well, it must be, because we use the word distinction in real life. So it must be such a thing if you can use it and it has a meaning. Why would you want to deny it has a meaning when in normal experience it has a meaning?
Well, I'm not denying it has a meaning. If you think it's meaningful, great. If you say it has a meaning, great. If you say it has no meaning, great. This is not.
No, I say it has a meaning because it does have a meaning.
Great. I'm not denying. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, things mean things.
Yes,
whether they are of any consequence or not is another question.
I'm just pointing out, is there meaning? Yes. Is there no meaning? Yes. But it's not meaning for, it's not meaning for or meaningless for you outside the idea that there's meaning or no meaning to begin with.
Well, this is why people go and see therapists.
Yeah, that's right, Sander. Right. There is no separation.
This is not about denying meaning, or denying knowing. I mean, this is funny when, I've heard radical non-dualists say there's no knowing. Well, I bet if you go to Tony Parson and he asks $100 and you give him 50, he knows that it's 50 and not 100. But this is not about knowing or no knowing. There's just simply no separated knower or unknower. There's no you doing the knowing, able to become unknowing. There's no you having knowledge.
Gio, how do you know there's no separation? How do you know?
Do you want a mental, intellectual answer? There is not.
I want something that's based on your direct experience.
Harvey direct experience. How can, point to me again, something that is separate. Give me an example.
Oh, any object I can see right now.
If you can see it, it is in your brain. Your brain is yourself.
I don't know. I never watched Discovery Channel or read any textbooks that told me I had a brain.
Well, but the idea of a brain is also an idea in yourself.
What if I was raised in a room and I had no contact at all with the outside world?
You ask questions and you don't listen, man.
No, I'm giving you an
answer.
It's
impossible to talk with you.
No, well, you've been doing most of the talking. I've been quiet most of the time.
You don't listen. You just go blah, 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 blah. You don't listen.
But that's what you've been doing for the last hour. If you were brought up in a room and you had no contact with the outside world and you never learnt about brains, you wouldn't be saying anything about brains.
There is no mind, there is no brain, of course. It's obvious. Because the brain is brain-made, a mind is a mind-made. So it's circle, it's an infinite circle of regression. There are no brains, there are no minds, there are no things except as we imagine. And there is no imagination because there is no mind.
Well, if you're imagining something, how can there be no imagination?
Well, we can go on forever. A mind is imagining. Then you will say, but there is no mind. And I agree, there is no mind because the mind is mind-made.
Well, in a particular context, you can say there's no mind, but in another context, you can say there is mind.
It's all mind. There's nothing else.
So
and
does
there
it
is no mind.
mean that actually
And there's
everybody
no
I see
mind.
here,
There's no mind.
you're all me, are you? You don't really exist. I'm making this up.
No, but you have to go to Tony Parson with these types of statements, Sylvan. This is not about saying you don't exist. No. Here, there is just no separated you. This is not about claiming that you don't exist. No. There's a fundamental difference between what is being suggested here compared to the message you don't exist. I can very well say there is just you. There's no separate you doing. This is not denying existence. This has nothing to do with denying existence.
No, but Sander, just a second. You are claiming that there is not a separate you. I mean, you cannot say that you are not claiming that. Any sense of separate you is imagination. It's a thought. There is no separate you.
No, but we can. I can say there's just this, but people seem to say, well, there's just you. There's nothing else, or there's just the self. There's no separated self doing the selfing, nor is there a separated this doing this, or a separated life doing life. There's just life, and there isn't even a thing called life. There isn't a thing. There isn't a this as an object.
And by the way, Tony Parsons wouldn't say otherwise.
Exactly. So,
Sorry.
but this is heard often as a certain you are not existing. But this is not. No, but when Sylvian is saying so, you all don't exist. No, this is not about saying you don't exist.
The very statement itself that there is no separate person is misconceived. That statement is actually misconceived. It's meaningless.
I think the point was in reference to the cup debate. So if you're saying that there's no difference between me and the cup, are you also saying, well, there's no difference between me and you?
Exactly.
Well, there is no difference.
My body is perceived here. Your body is perceived here. His body is perceived here. Everything is perceived here. But there is no one here. I don't know how else to put it.
True. You both do exist.
You're
and don't
here.
exist.
Geo, you are here. What are you talking about? You are here.
As a totality, but not as some separate you. No. As a separate you is just
there's no difference. Yeah, but there's no difference.
There is a difference.
Whether you talk about a separate you or a non-separate you, it's you. That's why the question is misconceived. That's why the statement itself about separation and non-separation is meaningless.
A separate me is a thought. When there is no thought, there is just me, the totality. And the thought is not separate from the totality. But I cannot say that I am in this body, behind this skin. That's not true. That's just imagination. That's just a thought. Right?
Well,
yes, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
There can be a lived sense. A lived sense, there seems to be, claiming the me to be a thought or claiming the me to be a contraction. Some seem, there may be a sense that there is a me, a lived sense of a me inside, So I don't want to put it away only as a thought. There seems to be.
Okay.
Sander, the one who is saying there is no individual, the one who is saying there is no individual, a separate individual, is the individual itself making the statement. That's why it's misconceived. Because the individual is making the statement that there is no separate individual. Or some people even say there is no individual, but the individual is making the statement.
Well,
so you don't see the problem with that?
Well, there is an individual.
I don't agree.
As the idea, there is an individual. As the sense, there's an individual. And when that sense is not there, there's no individuality. There's just simply.
Well, but that's not my experience, that there is no individuality. Tony, I don't know how anyone can deny that. Well, I don't know anyone can say it, really.
I'm not saying there's no individual.
There is individuality, but at the same time, there is something else which is without boundaries at the same time.
But it has already no boundaries, Tony. What you are talking about or claiming to be an individual is already boundless.
No, the individual is not boundless. The individual has boundaries.
Yeah, but you are making the individual into an object. So the whole idea, I'm talking about the sense or the belief that there is an individual is already boundless and borderless itself.
Yeah. Okay, the reason the individual has boundaries is because, as far as individual experience is concerned, you know there is a beginning and a middle and an end. Those are the boundaries. So that's why it's has boundaries.
Yeah, but that statement
because you know the beginning of thought and you know the end of the thought, right?
Tony.
You know, right? But you know that, yeah.
Yeah, but the whole claim is already boundless itself.
But no, but individuals make claims and individuals have boundaries. So how can there be a boundless claim?
Yeah, but it's itself already boundless, Tony. The whole claim.
Can I try to answer this?
No, but saying it's already boundless doesn't make it so.
Tony.
Yeah.
The totality, this body chooses the words that claim that there is an individual inside this body.
Does it?
It sorts out the proper words, chooses the words, constructs the sentences, the statements to say there is not a separate me. But that's just the computer computing. It's not a me. It's not an I. It's just a functioning, a program, right? Choosing the proper words to express and point to the fact that there is no separation.
I'm with you up until the point where you make a conclusion that there is no separation. Everything you said before that, I would agree with.
Let's give Sylvan a chance also. Sylvan wants
come on, Sylvan, yeah.
Leo, you were actually asking to point out at something which wasn't me. And I can point out at anybody's thinking. I had no idea before I heard you about what you said. So that I can't contrive that to be me.
No,
it's
but
me.
the moment
when I hear it, it's me. I understand that, but the provenance, the thought, it didn't come from my imagination.
Yes, but the moment that you did not hear my thinking, that you did not hear my statements, that I had something in my mind is imagination in your mind. It's always in you.
I agree with that. Not the content. These are yours, and they're coming to me. So
yes,
I understand that.
If you recognize that everything is you.
The moment that I speak to you, Sylvain, it's a perception. You agree?
Yes.
Because you can hear and you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
The moment that I'm not speaking to you, if I have something in your mind, it's just your imagination. It's a picture.
He's not real.
Still with you. You have only 6 senses, always. The 6 senses imagination.
Yes.
So you are saying Gio has something in his mind that I don't know. But if you don't know, that's just an imagination that there is something in Gio's mind, in your mind.
Well, not when I hear you. It's something I can live with the possibility that both what's outside me and my perception, yes, that's unique to me. But what's outside also exists.
But Sylvan,
no, because the moment you say that,
I can talk to a number of people from standing in the same position, and mainly people will have the same sort of description of what's in front of them.
But wait, outside me and inside me, what are you talking about? Inside where?
course.
Well, we can make it very complicated because, I mean, the only area where we can take action and exist, in effect, whether we exist or not, that's a different matter, is when we accept that we operate within a reachable environment.
Yeah,
we
but
can affect it.
yes, but this is pointing out that this acceptance where you are talking about happens freely. There is no one in a state already not accepting able to move to a state of acceptance, while you are expressing that we all should do something which is already not done by anyone outside of this. You are
Preaching.
giving instructions with the
Isabel
idea
says,
that there is a someone as a separated doer able to just accept the fact, while accepting or the lack of accepting is happening freely. There is no one in a state of not accepting able to move to another so-called state of acceptance. This doesn't mean that accepting and not accepting may not seem to happen, but they happen freely. There is no separated someone outside of acceptance doing this already. There's just acceptance or the lack of it. Where you seems to point out, there's a belief that people make choices, that there are separated being making choices, able to stop. I'm not saying that stopping may not happen, but there's no one outside of this, and with this I mean this, whatever seems to be happening, doing this, able to stop doing this. Stopping or
But
not
when you
stopping
when you
happens.
when you see someone making a choice, you assume that there is someone making a choice. You just make that assumption, don't you?
Yes.
There's that kind of transactional basis. But Sylvian, what were you saying? Oh, je ne sais pas.
He's stunned,
If you
stunned to silence.
No, I'm not. I mean,
if you just accept and recognize that everything is me or everything is you, then the question about separation and non-separation just goes away, because everything that you perceive and think, all of this is emanating from you. So it's all you. So if you recognize that, then the question of separation and non-separation is irrelevant. It doesn't have any real meaning, because there is only you. Within your own experience, there is only you. The only thing you can experience is you.
Or not, Tony. So now there's.
What do you mean or not?
No,
Yeah, but why is that? Why do you say or not?
Projection. There seems to be a projecting. It's this is projecting how it seems to be there.
Where's the proof for or not?
No, but you are projecting how it seems to play there. And
I'm assuming it plays the same way for everyone.
Oh no, because here there's no such thing, Tony. I told you before, there's no sense of doership. There's no additional feeling of me doing the talking or me.
Well, yeah, I know that, but I'm talking to you.
Yes, but so when there is a sense of doership, then there may be.
I'm not talking to your separate you. I'm talking to you.
Yeah. If there is a sense of doership, there may also be the idea that there are all types of separated doers able doing stuff, because that's just simply how it seems to play. And that
I'm not thinking about separation.
No,
I'm just talking to you.
Yeah, but I'm talking about doership. I'm not, I'm talking to you about doership. So when there's a sense of personal doership of a me doing life or having life, there seems to be the idea that there are so-called others doing life, having life, addressing at that, which itself is already not done. I'm not, the sense of doership or the sense of being a doer or being separated is already not done by something outside of this to be a you or a no you.
But that's just creating an abstraction of one's actual experience.
Fine.
You're just making an abstraction of it, which is just another concept.
Well, I'm not disagreeing, but I'm not, that's just how it seems then. Fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is
anything that seems to be is non-separate.
I'm not saying
Geo does the same thing continually. Geo keeps doing the same thing over and over again, which is abstracting his own direct experience and creating concept about his own experience, which
But
is just direct,
there is your
natural.
own experience, Tony.
Why is there this abstraction going on about one's experience, which is really very simple? Why?
Well,
I don't know what you mean by abstraction. What do you mean by abstraction?
Because the simple process of you switching on a light switch, you want to make an abstraction of that, and you want to say, well, who is it that's switching on the light? Well, there's no separate me here. There's no one doing anything. The light switch doesn't exist because it's just something in my mind.
No, because
you're constantly wanting to abstract that out when all I do, all I ever do is flick the light switch.
I was answering to Sylvain, Tony. I was answering to Sylvain.
You don't
Why not just flick the light switch and get on with your life? I mean,
no problem.
Tony, there seemed to be an interest to be here, right? As far as it seems, there seems to be an interest to be here, right?
Yes, yes. And the question is, why are these questions being asked?
No, but we talked about this, that the interest to be here was declining. But here again, there seems to be interacting, right?
That's fine, Sander. I think that's perfectly legitimate. But what's interesting for me is this complete disconnect between the simple living of life and doing stuff and thinking stuff and this abstraction of what one is doing. And there's a complete disconnect between the two.
Yes, but can it not be that there's just, this so-called disconnect, or this the suggesting that it is a disconnect is just simply what is?
I'll tell you why all this abstraction is there and all these questions are arising, because you've just read too much about damn non-duality. That's why it's arising.
I have not read any books
Keep
about
away from those non-duality books, for heaven's sake.
Tony, I have not read anything about non-duality.
I'm not talking to you specifically, Sandra. I'm just talking generally.
Yeah, but that's the funny thing, which you seems to do. You always generally, but just make it. You also try to take other people.
Yes, because I have a generalized view of the world. Everyone has
Tony,
a generalized view of the world.
Don't take other people in the mix, like Facebook non-duality.
Oh, how would we live if we didn't make such assumptions about other people? How would it be possible to live?
No, but it's now you're twisting. It's just like this is just simply what is. It's not about other people.
It couldn't be anything else other than what is.
Yes, right. So this, I know there is an idea that this is. I know that there is an idea or a belief or a thought that what is talked about. Let's call it non-duality. That this whole conversation is not real non-duality, because real non-duality is something else, which itself is already this. This is not suggesting that this is better or worse or whatever. It's just simply already what it is, making a distinction between duality, radical non-duality, or real non-duality. I'm just pointing out there isn't even a thing called duality or non-duality to begin with.
Well, clearly there is. Because we use these terms and we discuss the terms and we talk about our understanding, and that's what language is for, isn't it?
I'm pointing out like two separated things, not a thing called non-duality and something else which is not duality, as two separated things, dimensions in which one is able to live. This is pointing out that there is, this is duality and non-duality at the same time, and not even. There isn't a dimension where you are living in able to combine these two.
Oh, I would never say that.
I know. I'm just pulling your tail.
Yeah, I know. I rarely see non-duality discussed in terms of what it really is, but
this is funny. What it really is. This is pointing out that this is it already, claiming that this is not really what it is. You understand?
Yes.
So there seems to be a pointing, well, this is not real. This is not really non-duality. There's something else. Well, that's it already. So claiming...
Do you think I should have a problem with making such a claim?
No,
No, but do you think that I should have a problem about making such a claim?
no, no.
Because I don't.
I don't either have a problem with it. But so I'm just pointing out that claiming that there is
You're trying to push me into Claire's office, I think, to lie down on the couch.
No, but no, I'm just saying, claiming that there is a more real, or however you want to put it, realistic or
But don't contradict yourself. Be
non-duality.
careful, Sander, because you said, no, don't be careful. You don't contradict yourself here, because you said if there is meaning, then there is meaning, and that's okay.
Oh,
If
yeah.
there's not meaning, then there's not. That's okay too.
Well, I'm not saying it's wrong, Tony, because people seem to be offended very quickly. I'm just pointing out that shit already, and it's beautiful. So thinking this is not the real stuff, and there's more real stuff, which is more substantial, sacred, blah, 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 is already just simply this. And this idea or belief or claim or suggesting or conclusion is just innocently arising. And the idea that this is not it, but something else is it, may just simply innocently stop or fall or whatever, or crush or morph into the next so-called belief that, oh no, I was wrong, this is it.
Well, all you're saying is that anything can happen. And I think we all know that, right? Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
As far as
But
false,
that by
Non-separated.
itself is not some kind of profound knowledge that something's going to happen in 5 minutes,
oh,
and I don't know what it is. I
but
mean,
this is
there's
not
nothing.
about profound
I mean,
knowledge, my
that's
friend.
not new.
No, but this is not about profound knowledge. This is not a teaching where we all, this is not Sander telling the sacred scriptures or truth. No.
Yeah, but you're saying what it's about. Yes, but you're saying this is what it's about. You're
This is
making a
just-
claim now. You're
No,
making
but-
a statement that this is what it's about.
This is just expressing
Now
whatever.
that means I can come in and say, no, it's not about that. It's about
Yes.
something else.
Like I said in the beginning, so there's just this innocent stream of happenings, which may include, no, Sander, you're completely wrong. It's not. It's something else. Which is this already? And this is just innocently arising. So liking this conversation or going to these meetings, the need to come here or the interest or to say, well, next time I never come up, it was terrible. It's just simply arising until it shifts into, well, maybe I come again because it was fun. Maybe I have to sleep over it tonight. This whole inner dialogue, or whatever you want to say, this life or whatever you want to call it, this or life or energy is just innocently flowing, and not even. There isn't an innocent thing flowing to begin with. And at the same time, it's this already. Yeah, what to say?
Well, yes, okay, but there are so many contradictory statements there saying
Oh,
that
yeah,
this is not happening and this is not meaning, but then on the other hand, this means something. So,
Yeah,
if
but
something means something, that
yes,
means
but
something, right?
having an issue with that, my dear friend, is just, it's okay. This is not asking for agreement. So this meeting is not
It's not
made
an issue. I'm just
for
pointing it
Claire,
out.
for Claire or Sylvan or Patricia or Gio or Carrie or Tony to agree. This is not asking for agreement. This is only pointing out that agreement with certain statements or suggestions, or the lack of that agreement, is arising freely on its own. And there's no you who is owning that agreement or who is doing that agreement able to change it. At the same time, this agreement may change into disagreement in 10 seconds. And there's no you in between making it flip from one to the other. That's all.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you could say that in an absolute sense, yeah. But that's just
But-
one side of the coin.
But
We're on tenterhooks, Gio.
Claire, I mean,
Huh?
sorry.
No, I just wanted Gio to finish his sentence.
No, I said but
he
Tony,
was just pointing to
I'm
Tony
repeating Tony.
because Tony seems to have an extra. He wants to say something.
There is always a
Yeah.
but.
Always
I'm
about, but
done.
that's fine. And it can seem passionate, right? When it's arguing and discussing. No, it's not, and it's just, that's the beauty.
It's fun.
I would say there's just beauty, you know. So this is free to be whatever it seems to be or felt to be, claimed to be, which includes also I don't like it. That's the freedom. There's just freedom. It is free to be however it seems to be. What a goddamn meeting. I don't like it. That's it already. I'm just saying out that goddamn I don't like it may just simply shift into, oh, maybe I come next week again.
I like it. You know why? Because this is a reflection of what's going on in my mind the whole day long.
You're not mad.
No, I'm not mad.
The whole day. I wouldn't like to be in your
My
brain.
mind is crazy completely, just like this meeting. The whole day long, including the night. My dreams are more crazy than when I'm awake. Oh, it's
And this,
beautiful.
you know, it's beautiful because, you know, Claire is here and Sylvan, you know, both into therapy, which in a way sees a separated person with trauma, although Claire seems to be a so-called, I don't know
You
how.
better get it right, Sandra. It's very important.
Yeah, I'm not going to even try to explain how it's, but I mean,
She's a good listener. That's what a therapist is a good listener.
but you know, but
Well, you like me, Tony.
so
Sorry, Sandra.
in a way it gives, you know, there's people with problems, and you know, when we talked before, Tony, we always come to this agreement when someone would say to Claire, I have a problem, it will not be helpful when she is saying to this person, well, you're not separate and there is no you. No, of course, and probably it will also not, you know, when there is a sense of me being separate, that sense itself is already freely arising, free to dissolve in its own. And the addressing that or not addressing that or reacting in a certain way to people claiming to be separated or not is just what is. This is free to play however it seems to play. It's beautiful. So
Yeah.
this is free to see individuals. This is free to see non-individuality. This is free to see separation, free to see not separation. But as a whole, it's already not separated from something else.
That's the point. And there is no point, but that's the point, yeah.
Sweetheart.
Oh, these are just words.
Ah, Tony, yeah, it's great.
Of course, we're arguing. We always, you know, that's you and me. That's our thing. I mean, that's our thing. Arguing.
Thank you, Sander. It's so I like coming to the meetings, and I'm glad that you host them. Every time I come, I feel like something moves forwards, or something moves, or something kind of changes. And I know you're going to say that's just a thought, but
no, but it's so beautiful.
It feels real.
This is also so funny, Claire, because you know, here from this so-called perspective, this meeting is not for help or to move anything. And at the same time, there may arise a sense that something is moving, or even the sense that this is helpful. So this is free, it's free playing on its own, even when there's no intention to help. The sense that this is helpful or the sense that this is changing something may happen, yes.
I can see there's no ego for me to flatter, but thank you. It's nice.
And you know, is there something to reach? Well, the idea that there's something to reach is already unreachable.
And there is the addiction to create complications, which is also already this. It is a problem. It is something that arises. The mind loves complications. The mind loves problems. I guess it's part of the human nature.
Yeah.
And round and round and round we go.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Until it may stop.
Stop. Stop.
Well,
on its own.
As far as it seems, it will. It will stop. You know, so here I would say, as far as it seems, this will stop. But
So you're saying that he can't do something to make it stop?
What do you mean, Sander?
so as far as it seems, you know, this whatever seems to be happening, which includes the idea that there is something happening or not, will stop. So
But
life,
can Geo do something to stop all these thoughts that are running around his mind all day and all night, as he just said? Is there something he can do?
Tony, you know, when it comes to language, I know if we pick apart language, right? So the funny thing is that this gives the idea that there is a geo doing this, able to stop it, right? I'm not saying that stopping it will not happen or trying, but the trying to stop thoughts, the thought I will try to stop thoughts is already not done by something separated from the idea that there's a you doing it already. So
Oh, it doesn't matter. You see, all he has to do is pretend that he is the doer. I mean, it's quite simple, really. If you've got a problem in thinking that you're the doer, the solution is easy. Just pretend that you're the doer.
Well,
I don't know. I don't understand.
Well, there seems to be many practices.
Just pretend you're the. Did you do some stuff today? I mean, it was easy, wasn't it? You did some stuff. You did some things. You just did it, right? Okay, so if I were to say do this, you would do that in the same way that you as a non-doer seemed to do things before because you pretended to be a doer.
Yes, but the problem is that when you feel constantly that there is an entity inside here, your doing is mostly based on envy, anger, hatred, need, necessity. These are the drives. These are the drives. You don't listen to it. It's impossible to talk with you.
Because you're going off in a different direction. I'm simply talking about doership. If you think you're a non-doer, it doesn't stop you from getting out of bed in the morning and doing stuff, does it?
But no one thinks that, Tony. You're painting a picture where someone is thinking that he's not a non-doer. This is.
Oh no, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm not saying that.
Just to make clear, right?
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying.
Time for bed,
Tony. Huh?
Time for bed.
Oh God, yeah, I think it could be. Yeah.
So, I mean, here there are
Sandra and I will be doing a post-mortem on this, but
Sandra, it's an hour later for him.
Yeah, then you, but Tony is really in the middle of the night.
Oh yeah, nearly 4 o'clock in the morning for me.
So this is not about holding up a mantra that there is no doer. Although, you know, funny enough, this may happen. Holding, you know, the mantra "I'm not existing" may happen. It's not happening here, but you know, these things may arise. Yes, you know, trying to fool yourself that you're not there may happen, but there's no one fooling something else.
Yeah, I just you know, can't forget this interview I saw with someone who got so paralyzed mentally about doership that he didn't know what to do. He was talking to someone about it and just saying, well, I don't know what to do. Should I sit here all day? Or, I mean, that's terrible. That's somebody who should be going straight to Claire's couch.
Yeah, we should maybe just go for a walk and meet a friend for a coffee and get a job at Sainsbury's.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I think this guy wouldn't go for a walk because he's not the doer, you see. That's
no, but
go for a
Tony,
walk. How can I go for a walk? I'm not the doer.
There seems to be very, you know, this is free to play in mental illness and whatever, you know. There seems to be mental neurosis and all. Claire can probably talk much about it, but you know, blaming, this may happen. It's hurt as it hurts, you know, saying, okay, so I'm not here, I'm lying on the couch. No, we are not. This is not saying just sit on the couch. This is just pointing out that sitting on the couch or trying to do nothing may happen, yes, but there is no separated you already trying to not do anything or doing anything or not already.
Yeah, so that's what. So what you're saying is that's happening just naturally, of course, as it is. And of course, it's happening naturally, isn't it?
As mental illness also, as is, I don't know what to do, I'm confused.
In the same way that when you're walking, you don't think to yourself, now I must move my right foot forward and move my weight, and then you don't think.
If you do Zen walking, then you go into the whole, I move my left toe now and all that shit.
Yeah, but that's nonsense. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, but you see, it's happening, right?
Yeah, some people think it's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
We might call it mindfulness.
But if it's happening or not, as far as it seems, it may happen, but it's just simply innocently rising. So as is mental illness, there's no one having a mental illness as a you outside of the mental illness. No one owning life. This will not stop for you, Tony, Daniels. This will not stop for you. It just stopped. It never started for someone separated already. No one experienced birth. At a certain point, this just simply, as far as thoughts and memories goes, this just suddenly starts playing. Even the idea that it suddenly starts playing and the conclusion or the assumption it did started already suddenly.
I don't have an issue with saying I.
No, I'm not either. I'm talking about when I go, if someone asks, what have you done? I say, well, I have been working or not. There's no issue with saying I. This is just pointing out there's no separated someone saying I or no I. It's just the body speaking. It can even be the claim that you are a body, but there's no one as a separated you identifying with this physical form. This doesn't mean that identification with physical form may not happen.
So you probably, most people don't think like this, right? Most people don't think like this.
Well, that's another thought that most people.
So why does this little Zoom group think like this?
I don't know. I'm not
coming back every week for more. Why this group? I mean, most people don't think like this, do they? They just do what they do, live their lives. Yes, they don't think, is there a separate me? Is there a separate? They don't. Most people don't do that. Would you?
Well, no one does it.
Well, it's happening right now in this Zoom meeting, though, isn't it? Don't you think it's interesting why people want to discuss this?
Well, but the first time you showed up, it was the first question you said, why are you here? Why are you all discussing here? At the meantime, you have been here 9 times, but still the questions arises, why are you here? Why are you all here? You're here. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Right? Tell me, what is the interest? Sylvan.
Why?
Sylvan. Yeah, why?
I find today a lot of meetings that when people are organized like this, and they've got a practical purpose to it. And I think it's quite refreshing to participate to a meeting when there isn't such a thing.
Beautiful.
But I find at the same time it's a bit unsettling because I personally try to be a practical. I am practical whether I like it or not. So I always look for something which can be useful, to pass on. And I can't find that. And I think it is quite refreshing. Saying, well, just listen and don't believe you know everything and see what happens.
Beautiful. Sylvan, yes. Beautiful.
I like the practical as well. I mean, I like the practical.
Oh, but yes, because it's about something. It's about teaching something. We talked about this, Tony. When you have someone who is wanting to learn meditation or whatever, it's practical. Yeah, you have a goal. This meeting in itself has no separated goal. The meeting is just what it is, and anything may happen. Crying, arguing, discussing, liking. One time I've seen it all. People crying, people screaming, people going away, naked people on the screen, whatever. So this has no predefined goal. This doesn't mean that that there may not be the idea, people joining, well, that there is a goal for them, so to say, to join this meeting. I'm not saying that, but the meeting is just free to be whatever it seems to be. There's no let's find this out. It doesn't mean that there is a finding out going to happen. It's free.
What I find is very interesting.
The parameters of such a meeting are fine. I mean, not a problem at all. I mean, it's yeah.
I think there's something very practical because when I listen to you, Tony, for example, you are very good at explaining what you're thinking. First of all, I think it's practical for you because you express yourself, so that's a good exercise anyway. And also, for me, it's very good to listen to what you've got to say, and other people, of course, because the discussion really, at the end of the day, is a practical exchange between. Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing now, but between people. I see people as individuals as far as it goes, and it is an exchange between minds, and I think that's quite interesting.
Beautiful. That's it. That's just an innocent expressing from how it seems to be. For me, it seems to be like what is being expressed there.
Yes, because thoughts do have meaning.
Of course, because we nothing practical start without a thought first. So it's pretty important to think correctly.
Which is just, come again, guys, which is just another thought claiming that thoughts has a meaning, There's no way out.
We can say that, that's okay.
Be honest, Tony. I mean, the thought that, the claim or the thought that the thought has a meaning is just another thought claiming the thought to have a meaning or not. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not diminishing anything,
Yes, of course.
But that's just how it seems. There's a thought suggesting this to be meaningful, which is just a thought in itself. It's not something else. But the thought,
yes, of course,
the thought is already a thought, right?
Meaning or understanding is something, arising in consciousness or awareness. So, that's what it is. I know you don't like me making that distinction, but
when you say in consciousness, I mean, here there seems to be a distinction.
It's a useful distinction when we come to what Sylvian's talking about, which is the practical. So, yeah, it does have a place.
Yeah, but he's saying he likes the not practicality of this. But
I know you would say, I would say, okay, all of this is arising in awareness, but you would say, well, it's all simply this.
Well, I would say it's awareness. It's not rising in
not
awareness. No, Tony.
Because you're just saying it in a different way.
Well, Tony, if you say this is all arising in awareness, which it's already awareness, I would say awareness is nothing than an innocent loop of thoughts or knowing, claiming.
No, awareness is not thoughts. Awareness is awareness.
Well,
this goes right back to Gio's original question about what is sentience.
Well, awareness is nothing else than just an innocent loop of thoughts or knowing, claiming this to be this or not. There's nothing more to it.
Well, I say awareness is prior to thought, because you can have awareness with thoughts or without thoughts. So that's why you can make the distinction between awareness and thoughts or mind, because it's possible to have awareness without thought.
But there isn't a prior to this.
That's
there isn't a prior to the idea that there is a prior. There isn't a prior to the thought there is something prior or not.
Right.
Well, the awareness, there can be the awareness without a thought.
Yes, but that's always...
I mean, I can say that because that's my direct experience. So that's why I would say it.
Yeah, but this is also where spirituality, claims that there is something which awareness, which you really are, which is separated from this. There isn't a thing called separate awareness, which is more substantial than this, something else. I would say there's just
of course. Yeah. The moment you say this, that involves awareness and everything else.
Yeah.
Well, what I described is the, it's like first there are mountains and rivers, and then there are no mountains and rivers, and then there are mountains and rivers again. Yeah, I mean, that's just the first Okay, you can discriminate between awareness and thought and treat them as though they are separate, only to discover that they're both the same. But
Yes,
that's
Do you know what?
Step
These meetings really are really challenged because with what's being discussed, and maybe I can't understand everything myself, I've got to admit, but it does challenge what I stand for, and I think it's a very healthy thing to do because you come out of here and say, well, what was I believing about this? And that's something maybe I need to correct, or maybe I would say, well, at least I've got something solid to get on with. So I find that really healthy.
Write it down, leave a review.
oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Is if you say that there is no such thing as this separation between awareness and thought, then what you're doing is you're immediately preventing the investigation of it.
Well, you're right. But it's also what we don't know during those meetings is we all have individual, it's not approved, but experiences. I mean, I've had experiences myself in my life, which makes me witness to what happened to me. And when I listen to other people who haven't had such experience, they might think differently or behave differently. So it's not always easy to explain something like that.
But at a certain point, when it comes to experiences, there has been many so-called experiences. But, the giving certain experiences importance may just simply stop. What I see a lot is that there seems to be all types of experiences, and then there's a certain the experience of experiences, and until that is reached, it's never this, or it is reached before, or it is experienced, and I have to go back to that, which itself is already this. So it's the funny when talking about experiences. So here I would say there's no difference. It's all the same when it comes to, it's all special and non-special at the same time. There is nothing sticking out. I would say everything is the same and everything is unique at the same time.
But I think that I could claim that my personal experience, I make it personal because I trust that actually I exist. Sorry to disappoint, but my experience is actually the question that Joe started with, which is about being sentient, and the subject of awareness and thought are very close to my experience. I quite tell you that actually for me, awareness and thoughts are two separate things in my body. I've got both, but one doesn't depend on the other. So I can be aware and without words, where thinking requires words, for example.
Of course. Yeah.
So there is
whenever there is mind, there is confusion.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all about it, which is part what I think is very interesting because that freedom of expression is great.
Well, there is just
Sander, you have to be prepared to play the game.
Sorry,
you have to play the game.
Wait. Sorry, I want to react. There is just free expression. There isn't anything else. Sylvan,
Of course.
there is just free expression.
Well, I don't know about that. It's about what you call freedom.
Well, we can say there is just freedom. Even the idea there is no freedom is already freedom.
Yeah.
So in my I suggest there is just expression. You can call it free expression, or you call it non-free expression, which is already expression.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's fine. Yes.
You have to be prepared to play the game. To play the game, you have to play the game, and that game is pretending there is starting with separation.
Yeah, but
you have to play that game.
Tony, I told
nice
you.
dog.
there was never the, you know, I would love to feel separate. Tell me, please. There was not a sense of separation, never. So
Well, I'm not talking about you specifically, Sander, but I'm saying that for the seeker, you have to start off with separation.
yes.
You have to start off by assuming that you can discriminate between different objects, and then you have to assume that you can discriminate between the awareness that knows the objects. You have to be prepared to play that game. And you're not going to play that game if you're someone who becomes completely wrapped up in all these non-duality concepts about no self and
Yeah, but that's
no
just a
person.
specific game.
That's going to prevent you from even playing the game.
That's just a specific game of playing awareness. There are other 100 methods and models and paths. That you are awareness is just one more.
Be prepared to discriminate between what is aware of what you experience. That.
Yeah, I know the game. I know that game already.
That
you
is
end
the
up in subject object.
Tony,
what is interesting is actually we can. I mean, I can talk about myself, but I can't talk about you. And I think, although I could say, well, that's the way I feel, but don't you feel the same? And would you try to see how I've experienced life? You said, no, I've got my own, and that's what I'm doing. Now, so that's what I can't tell you what to do. I don't think that. Yeah, I respect what you stand for, your own life and the way you see things, and I respect mine because that's what I've experienced myself. But whether I like to say it or not, my overall feeling is, or whatever is, I have got my life.
Dogs barking. I was
Great.
myself.
Yeah.
Well, within the thing, I know I'm part of the whole at the same time.
Sylvan. So here there is no sense of my life.
Yeah, that is in me.
Oh, but yes. So this is free to play, however it seems to play, feeling of having a life or the lack of that feeling.
Yes.
So
and that's freedom of interpretation. This is what it is to me.
This is even free to claim that when there's a lack of the sense of feeling to have a life, that it's like a kind of mental illness. I'm pretty okay with that. Yes.
No, I don't think that anyway.
No, but no, I'm not saying you're thinking that. But
yes,
no,
Claire can explain that to us.
This is, seeing that as a problem or as a trauma or whatever, or claiming to know why this is or why this is not, is already just simply what is, right? So this is free to feel I have a life, but it's also free to feel I don't have a life or the lack of that feeling. This is free to be whatever it seems to be, felt to be, claimed to be, which is already just this, which includes the claim it is free to be. At the same time, there isn't a thing which is free to be as something which is able to be or not to be.
It's totally unbounded, totally no limits, no frontiers, no boundaries, no meaning, absolutely no meaning. Nowhere to drop the anchor. The mind wants very deeply to find somewhere to drop the anchors, to be sure of something, but there is not.
Do the best we can in the circumstances.
Why not? Yeah.
Everybody, I don't want.
This is not a criticism at all. I'm just describing the human nature. The human mind is just the need of security, the need to have something to be anchored to carry along. It needs.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with it's just how it seems to function.
Yeah, exactly. So we can live with what is.
Which already is a certain type of
There is no choice. Yeah.
I think I'm going to
bed.
no, stop the meeting. It's 2 hours already.
Well, yes, we've done well there.
Thank you, Sander.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. That's very good. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
Claire, Sylvan, Gary, Gio,
Bye,
Tony,
Claire.
Anand. Have a beautiful night. Thanks for participating and for the openness and everything. Have a beautiful night.
Thank you to
You
you.
too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.